Welcome to Green Timbers Park, Green Timbers Urban Forest in Surrey, British Columbia. Ancestral lands of the Katsi, Kwantlen, and Semiahmoo First Nations. This is an interesting park, lovely forest park. I used to come here and photograph in the early 1990s before this was established as a park. What you see here now is a massive glacial erratic. All around here in the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, there are these large boulders of various sizes of granodiorite. These rocks were brought down by the glaciers from the mountains during the last glacial period. And this is one enormous one. Just gonna step back. This is huge. Unfortunately, I don't have a tripod, so I can't stand next to it to show you just the scale of it. But as you can see, it goes into the ground. So I'm not exactly sure how big this is. There's a stump over here. If you step on the rocks and step on the stump, you can get on top. Let's see if I can get close to this stump here just so you can see the size of it. Just a moment. Okay, well, as you can see, sorry, it's not a stump, it's a log. But as you can see, can you see? This log is basically coming up to my height, which means that the top of the boulder is a little bit higher than I am. Let's walk around. Looks like I've got a raindrop on the lens. It is actually raining here right now. Usual kind of Fraser Valley rain. I'm sure this is only interesting to me. I may decide to cut it from the video. There we go. And here we are, standing up top the darn thing. Pretty large piece of rock. All the years that I came in the forest, I never knew about this. And the last time I was here visiting, I just decided to take a walk and I found it. The path that's been officially developed through the park goes right past this wonderful, huge boulder. We've got a boulder down in the White Rock Beach area, also a glacial erratic. I think it's not as big as this one. These very large stumps, by the way, are the remains of trees that were logged back in the 1870s. Since then, this forest has remained untouched, and for many years there were disputes about developing it or leaving it as a park. So I don't know exactly when, probably after I left Surrey in 1999, but sometime after that it was finalized as an urban forest park. And since then there has been a parking lot put in, an artificial lake, and official paths and trails going through the park. But these stumps tell of the size of the trees that grew here way back in the 1870s before the area was logged. And you'll notice one thing here is that the trees have these markings in them. This is where the loggers would actually cut out a piece of the wood and insert planks so that they could stand on the planks and then cut the trees higher up. One logger on each side and a massive saw that they each pulled back and forth from one side to the other. Ooh. Greetings everyone. Welcome to Music as a Journey. I'm probably going to be saying that a couple of times during this video because I'm making this up as I go along. And every time I start shooting, I do a little welcome thing here. Anyway, this is Music is a Journey, and sometimes you have to travel far and wide in order to find good music. So here I am. What the hell am I doing in a forest? I'll explain. Well, greetings everyone. This is Peter at Music is a Journey, and I am recording my video here in my mom's place in good old Surrey, British Columbia. It's a lovely gray and cool, damp November day, which is pretty normal for November, and we are getting just a slight break in all the rain, which is normal for November. As part of my Visit to Canada edition, I thought I would show the 5 CDs that I had ordered to be delivered to my mom's place through, and most of them were through Discogs because shipping to Japan from Canada is a little bit expensive. As you could probably guess, it was much cheaper to have it sent to my mom's place. So I'll just go over what I have picked up here. So first of all, earlier this year, I discovered this band. They're called the Jerry Cans. This is a band that consists of mostly white Canadian musicians living in Iqaluit in Nunavut territory. And one of them, I don't remember if it's his wife or his girlfriend, who is a native Inuit woman. And so they have a folk country rock band with the main vocalist has punk roots, so there's a little bit of everything mixed in there that also includes some traditional Inuit throat singing provided by Nancy Mike, who is the Inuit female in the band here. I think she has since left the band. However, this is maybe their second album, and she appears on that one. I have one other album of theirs. Their CDs are pretty hard to find, so I had to search for Discogs, of course. I was only able to get one of them in Japan. So I really liked the one that I got earlier this year. I will be talking more about these Iqaluit musicians. I will be doing a video because I have a few CDs now. So anyway, this is the Jerry Cans. And then another musician from the area that I heard about, her name is Asiva. So I only listened to 1 or 2 of her songs on YouTube, and probably more in the pop vein than rock or anything like that. But I liked what I heard, and it seemed there was only one copy available out there in the world, and that was one that was available on Discogs. So this, I think, was a radio station promo copy. There's some scribbles over the barcode there. You can see that, and it's not like 100% mint condition. Obviously a bit of wear and tear there, but you know, considering that it was the only copy I could get a hold of, I am very glad that I was able to get a hold of it. What does it say here? Originally from Pangnirtung, Nunavut, now based in Iqaluit, Asiva's sound, airy and lively, is shaped by her melodious voice set against playful ukulele. That's right, she plays ukulele. With Inuktitut lyrics, delicate throat singing interwoven throughout her songs, Asiva's music offers a fresh, buoyant, and distinctive twist on indie folk. Yeah, so anyway, I am glad to get a hold of that and looking forward to hearing it. Okay, I've got 3 more I'd like to show. This is by a band called Death, and this is not the famous progressive death metal band Death. This is a band who recorded an album. I don't think it was released. It was recorded in 1974. This was a band of, I think it was 2 brothers and a friend.
or was it three brothers? There's a documentary about them. You can find it on YouTube and watch the whole documentary. They started out more as a funk rock band. They were inspired by Jimi Hendrix, plus more funk style music, but they heard, I don't remember who it was they heard now, but let's just say that their sound seems to have come from a similar mold as MC5 or the Stooges. When I hear their music, I think of MC5 and the Stooges. So I think they were actually from Detroit. However, when they finally recorded an album of material, it is a mix of this kind of proto-punk, proto-hardcore punk with some songs that are veering over towards like proto-metal, especially one, I think it's called Politicians in My Eyes. That one really has more of a proto-metal sound to it. So I was interested in getting this for a very long time, and it was one of those things like lost recordings, and the brother who was kind of the main man behind the music, he died, but before he died, he said, here are the master tapes. Hang on to these because one day people are going to come asking for them. And then somebody discovered this, I think, limited edition single or limited edition pressing or whatever it was. Some record collectors found it and it suddenly became a hot topic. And next thing you know, there was enough interest to actually reproduce the band's music on CD, reissue it. This is probably some like 15, 20 years ago now. Not 20, but about 15 maybe, that it was out on CD, and suddenly like there was a documentary and there was all this talk about this band. So I was really interested in getting a hold of the CD and tracked down a copy. Somebody was selling it in Nova Scotia actually. So I had it sent from Nova Scotia over here to Surrey, British Columbia. So I'm interested in hearing this, and as some of you may know, I recently did a video on hard and heavy songs like proto-metal and early metal songs from 1974. So that preparing that video inspired me to look into that. And another one I've talked about a couple of times recently, this is by a band called Coloured Balls from Australia, a band that Ben Rankins introduced me to. And this is, I think it's their third album. It's called Heavy Metal Kid. So I did a video about what a heavy metal kid is, because heavy metal kids show up a few times in rock music history between 1967 and 1974. And thanks to Ben Rankins, I remembered that he talked about this one, Heavy Metal Kids by Coloured Balls. The song is actually pretty good rock and heavy song for 1974. So luckily, I was able to track down this album. The CD is used, but it was in very nice condition. So very glad to get that. Otherwise, it would have costed me almost twice as much to order a copy new from Australia. So there's that. And one more thing, this is a local Vancouver band called Wormwitch. They are kind of a cross between black metal and crust, I've heard them described. Anyway, they have 3 full-length albums previously, which I own. I like all of them. And they also had some other like old material demos and stuff they released, but 3 proper full-length albums, and they released their 4th one. I don't remember if it was late last year or early this year. So I got a hold of that one straight off Bandcamp, brand new copy here. So that's great, which means I now have all 4 of Wormwitch's full-length, properly released, properly produced albums. And that's what I picked up here, had sent over to my mom's place. So yeah, I'm showing you some other scenes from my stay here in Surrey. So thank you for watching the video, and we'll see you around back in Japan later on. Well, I'll probably post this once I get back in Japan because I got to do all the editing. But anyway, see you in another one, folks. Thanks for watching, and bye. I was just playing a game here. Made it up myself, I think. I had to shoot in all the balls from 1 to 15 in consecutive order. How many shots did I take for each ball and totaled them up? It took me 43 shots to get all 15 balls in. Not very good. I'll keep trying.